thing, and I was given one page. So we put this together. I want to encourage you. If you need a good one-page summary to fall asleep on tonight, start pulling that out and start reading it, okay? Get that and put that in your mind so you understand the difference between tithing and grace giving. But we're a big fan. Start with the tithe. Grace giving goes above and beyond. So start with that. So you give to the Lord. The goal, work towards 10%. Why do I say work toward? Because some people can't do 10% right away. But let's say you're like the national average. The national average in giving is 2.2%. Did you hear what I said? The national average in people giving to charities, to giving to churches is 2.2%. That's the national average. So if you're with the national average, how can I help you to get to 3 or 4% by the end of the year to this church? And then next year, let's get you to 5 or 6%. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm going to keep moving that goalpost in a positive way to get you to the point where you're giving generously to your local church. You're moving the needle up to that 10%. So if you're giving 10% already, great job. Keep going. Don't stop. Remember, you can't outgive God. Amen? You can't outgive God. If you're not there, think about how you can keep moving that needle so that you're moving toward that 10% of giving each and every pay period that you have. So, again, we believe what Randy Alcorn said as I shared in the morning service. Tithing isn't the ceiling of giving, it's the floor. It's not the finish line, it's the starting blocks. Because tithing, once you have that done, then you move towards grace giving. And you give generously because God has given generously to you. So, again, page 23, that article, take a chance, take some time, not now, but later on today, and skim through that. So that's give. Save is to provide and protect for your family. Proverbs 22:3, the prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. We need to look ahead and we need to save for the future. So let's talk about some of the savings that are out there. First of all, short-term savings. It's having cash in savings accounts. Now, I will tell you, you go back about 5-10 years ago, savings accounts were getting you nothing. Pandemic changed things. We wound up getting some interest rates. Now we're hovering around a 3% interest that we're getting. 3% is better than bad. Now, you may be saying, Drew, where are you getting 3%? Online banks. Your local bank's giving you 0.02%. Did I say 0.02? I meant 0.02. You switch to an online bank, Capital One 360, Ally.com, both FDIC insured. You switch to one of those, they'll give you I think last I looked, which was a couple weeks ago, 3.4%. I like 3.4%. So get yourself over to an online bank account. So you want to have some cash and savings accounts. You want to have an emergency fund. Dave Ramsey's been pushing this for years, and we agree. Bare minimum of $1,000 emergency fund. But $1,000 doesn't even cover a car repair nowadays, does it? You know what I'm talking about. So with that in mind, I encourage you, move the needle. Get some money tucked away to cover that expense. So get at least $1,000, and then from there, work yourself up to 3 to 6 months of savings tucked away. That's gaining interest, that's liquid, available to you, that you can have tucked away for those times that are going to be challenging to you. And then from there, some planned expenses. You set aside funds that you have for expenses you're going to have in the next 12 months. So like taxes, Christmas vacations, insurance and stuff. My wife and I just got our car insurance bill. We did not freak out and scream because every month we put money away so when that bill comes, we can just take and make payment. Every month we build it into a monthly thing. We pay our car insurance, we pay it twice a year. If I could pay it once a year, I'd much rather do that. Why? Because I can get interest in the bank account for that money. So we wind up doing that, and I think that's an important thing to be able to do, those planned expenses that you have. So if you have certain bills, like my wife and I, we own our house. We paid cash for our house, and we have to now pay every year, we have to pay our property taxes and school taxes. So what do? Every month we're putting money away for when that property tax or school tax comes our way. We don't have to freak out and get scared. We just go to the bank, we pull that money out, and then we pay that bill. Because every month we're putting money away to take care of that. So you have those planned expenses. And then you also have long-term savings. So these are investments accounts, your IRAs, 401ks, and other investments accounts that you have. Angel is going to talk about this and educate you and help you go deeper, wider, and further with that on Monday night. So I want to encourage you, come back Monday night. Awesome stuff that Angel is going to speak about. And then you have the long-term savings. So that's what I just talked about, the long-term savings. Suggested goal is 10%. In long-term savings. You're taking 10% and you're giving it to the Lord's work. And then 10% you're saving so that you can have a future, that you can take care of those long-term savings that are out there. That's the goal to work towards for your future. And the next one is spend. And be timely and honorable with your creditors. If you're making a commitment, let's uphold that commitment. Romans 13:7, pay to all what is owed to them, taxes to whom taxes are owed, revenue to whom revenue is owed. If you're making a contract with an electric company, cable, with a mortgage company, with a car payment company, let's be honorable and pay on time. This budgeting category focuses on meeting the needs and necessities of housing, utilities, and debts. So housing expenses we have in the book should not exceed 25 to 30%. That was pre-pandemic. I need to move that needle. It's probably going to be more like 35%. That's where things are at today because the pandemic has moved everything much more expensive than what it was. But this is the spend category. This is necessity spending, okay? Necessity spending is not Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, okay? Got it? As much as I love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, that is not a necessity for life. I feel like it sometimes, but it's not. Most bills are due on a monthly basis. So this budgeting category, you pay those things on a monthly basis. If there's a bill, like my wife and I, we live out towards Valley Forge National Park, and from there we have to pay for our trash to get picked up. And we get a bill every 3 months, and it's $60. How much money do I have to put away every month to pay that bill? How much is it? $20 a month. So every month, my wife and I are tucking $20 away. So when that bill comes, boom, $60 goes out the door. Pretty simple math as we do this. So that's what you do. Every month we're putting money away, so when that time comes, the money's available to go out. Debt payment obligations are included in this, so if you have any debt, you are making sure that that is built into this spend category. So you got to also know the difference between needs and wants. A need is something that you must have in order to live. Did I say must? I meant must. You have to have this in order to live. A want is something that is nice to have. Here's a good example. We all need to eat lunch. So if we all going to eat lunch, if you come to our office in Douglasville, and I challenge you, come, you're not far, swing by, and if you see my car there or whatever, walk in and say, hey, is Drew here? Yep. They'll send you downstairs into my office. Drew, where's your lunch pail? I'll show it to you right there. I carry my lunch to work with me every single day that I'm in town. Well, let me say, almost every single day. If I'm having lunch with or breakfast with a pastor, I may not have my lunch pail with me, because I do a lot of pastors' meetings. But the bottom line is we carry our lunch. So that's a need, because I need to eat lunch. I will have my lunch with me. A nice to have, a want, is I need to eat lunch, but I want to go out to lunch. And we all know that eating out is much cheaper than taking something from home, right? Thank you for listening well, for those of you who chuckled. You're going to spend way much more money if you go out to eat than if you bring something from home. Way, especially now today, post-pandemic. So you have to have that needs versus wants that's there. And then you also have the offerings, which is the next one in here. So you got to set aside money to meet the needs of others. And Galatians 2:10, remember the poor, the very thing I was eager to do. So you got to remember the poor, help out others. Offerings, this is giving support to either your church or other ministries, people, organizations, neighbors outside of your regular giving to your church. It could be different organizations, missionaries, families in need. So the church my wife and I go to when I'm in town, we are big in our community. We love helping in our community when there's needs that arise. We're big on giving gift cards. I don't think there's a day that goes by where my wife doesn't have one or more gift cards available in her purse for at the moment's notice when a need arises, boom, it goes in the offering box. Why? We built into our budget this thing called offerings. And we know that our church is going to reach out and say, hey, there's a need. Let's get some cards and let's be a blessing. We're ready to go. Why? We've built it into our budget. It's baked into it. It's a non-negotiable. Why? Because we want to be a blessing. We want to hear the cry of the poor. We want to hear the cry of the needy. We want to hear it so that when we cry out to God, he doesn't turn his deaf ear towards us. Amen? As I shared about in our worship service. So, and then from there, let's talk about luxuries. Rightfully enjoying the blessings above and beyond the essential needs of life. 1 Timothy 6:17, as for the rich in this present age, charge them not to be haughty, nor set their hopes on the uncertainty of riches, but on God who richly provides us with everything to enjoy. Is it good and rightfully, is it good for us to enjoy what God has blessed you with? Absolutely. That's why he's blessed you. He wants you to have some fun. He wants you to enjoy some of these things. But it's not before you take care of the other areas, the give, the save, the spend, and the offerings. So you need to make sure those are taken care of. So luxuries, what are some of the luxuries I talked about in the first service? What are they? What are some of the luxuries? Eating out. Why does everybody say that? Every single time I ask that question, they always say eating out is the first thing. You understand why? We love to eat out. Who likes doing dishes? Anybody? No. You are hired. I saw that hand. My wife and I, we totally dislike doing dishes. Totally dislike. When we had our kitchen redone years ago, we decided we were going to spend money and get a really awesome dishwasher because that is to us a marriage saver. An ice maker and a dishwasher is a marriage saver. If you need some counseling, I can help you real quick with that, okay? Pretty simple thing. But you know, this eating out thing, it can be very expensive, but that's only one of the luxury things. It's what about you? What is it that you have those impulse purchasing that you're doing? Amazon makes it too stinking simple. Remember years ago, if you were on Amazon years ago, it was 2 clicks to make a purchase. Now they give you 1 button. It's crazy how quick and easy it is to spend, and you're not even comparing it to your budget. So now you get to this point, give, save, spend, offering, luxuries. This is the pivotal point in your budgeting process. Now you've taken a snapshot of your current budget. You may now see that there's a lot of work to do to make this thing all work, but don't stop. Don't give up. This is where the exciting part gets going, where you start putting this into practice and making this thing work. And you will see that you're going to start aligning your lifestyle to how you want to live. And then it will get you to that point where you can have that freedom to serve the Lord the way that your heart longs to do and the way that your finances long to do. So what are some of the next things? Jumping back in here, the next one is set realistic budgeting goals. And we do this by using the biblical financial priority framework. You set those realistic goals. Again, that first year, it's going to be a moving needle. Things are going to move. A budget is never static. A budget is never static. A budget is always dynamic. Do you hear me, guys? It's dynamic. It's going to move in and out. Let me give you a quick example. A handful of years ago, I had the medical trifecta happen to me. I wound up having... I tore my shoulder. I tore the labrum in my shoulder. I was doing some work around our property and literally shredded the muscle in my shoulder. So I needed to get surgery. And then from there, I also wound up having a pinched nerve in my neck. So that meant a lot of physical therapy. And then also, right before I preached at a church in Lancaster, 15 minutes before, I had a kidney stone attack. God got me through that by the grace of God. And he is a good God. Amen? So they say it's as painful, if not worse, than childbirth. I haven't done any children yet, but I felt like it was a child. Okay, I'll just leave it that way. What does that mean? All in 1 year. That means major medical expenses between the surgery, between the therapy, between getting to the ER thinking, what's wrong with me? Oh, it's so simple. Kidney stone. Simple. It's not simple. But with that in mind, My wife and I had to go back to this thing called a budget and said, okay, we need to redirect monies. That thing that we wanted to do, that vacation we wanted to do, those things we wanted to do on the house, X off, chop off. Redirect monies, what? Over to that thing called medical. Can I tell you, by the grace of God, and by the grace of God, and by the grace of God, every bill was paid on time, each time, every single time. Because we have a dynamic budget. The things that were flexible in there, we chopped off. The things that we needed to take care of, my health, it was available by the grace of God. That's what this thing called a budget does. We didn't whine and cry, oh, we can't do vacation. Yes, we did. But it was better for me to have a shoulder repaired. It was better for me not to have a pain in my neck and down my arm. So you do know and you do understand, this budget is dynamic, and you make it work. So set realistic budgeting goals. And then next, implement, monitor, and adjust your budget. After you implement your budget, frequently monitor and adjust things. Remember that dynamic piece of it. Keep adjusting your budget as your income and expenses change over time. I will tell you, I meet a lot of people that have a budget, and they put it together, and then they ignore it. That happens all the time. And then when you start earning more money and making more money, I'm going to use a technical term. People become sloppy with their budget and their money. They get sloppy, and they just spend willy-nilly. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on this afternoon here. So adjust your budget and your income as your expenses and your income changes. Again, we'll go deeper and wider that in a few minutes here. And if you're married, you got to be working together with your spouse on it. Did I say need? I meant need. You need to work together. It's not her money, my money. It's not your money, my money. It's our money. When I see couples that have separate bank accounts and you'll pay for this bill and you'll pay for this bill, no. The two shall become what? Let's make that happen, church. And that means one in all areas, including our finances. Let's be one in this. I just met someone the other day. We were talking about things, and this couple shared with me. It was outside. It was outside of ministry, and they said, they never make a purchase, including Amazon, without talking to their spouse first. Never. I kind of gulped. Why? I'm a car guy. Any car guys here? We got a couple car guys? We can show baby pictures later on, okay? So I'm a car guy. I love cars, motorcycles, anything with an engine I love. My job was given specifically between my wife and I keep all engines running, everything. From point A to point B, that's my job. I love that part of my job, of being married to my wife. But I don't go running back to her and say, hey, honey, the water pump on your car is leaking. Can I get permission to? I just order that part so she doesn't get stuck on the side of the road. Because we have a budget line item for auto repairs and maintenance. And I go into it and I say, do we have the money for it? If we don't have the money because we had another repair, what I do is say, hey, honey, we got to do a little tweak and adjust because I need to get a water pump for your car. I'll get it online, get it to a local store, and I'll install it. This is what it's going to be. We work together on these things. So, but it's very important on that at times. So if you're married, work together. And then next is be patient. Be in it for the long haul. I'm 39 years into this, and I'm still learning. And I'm learning, and I'm loving where my wife and I are at. My wife and I are not going to live and sail the 7 seas in retirement years. I'm 60 years old. Because I had the life of a pastor. But my wife and I always put money away for those future days. I'm going to say this. My wife and I, we're going to be okay. We're not going to be traveling all over the place and doing lots of stuff, but we're going to be okay. Why? Because we work together. We've been patient together. We've said no to things. We've said yes to other things. This thing called a budget really does work, church. I can't stress it enough. Be patient and be in it for the long haul. Take it from someone that has been doing this for 39 years. We are in a much better position now than when we began. We were just making it work. Now we're able to be more generous and be able to be more helpful. And we're also able to do a couple fun things if we so choose to. Why? Because we've lived within this framework. So make those necessary adjustments. Bring things back together. Can I tell you, it will be worth it in the end. So congratulations. We put here how to get a spending plan that works. We've listed everything here that's on the screen. You've created a budget. Let's look at some tips and tricks to help you continue to make forward progress as you put that budget together and to actually have you be successful in this budgetary thing. So let's take a look at some budgeting tips first of all. Utilize budgeting tools. Some budgeting tools, you can use that spreadsheet that's right there in our workbook. You can take that, download that, use that. That is one good place to start. If you wanted to just Google budget worksheets, you will be flooded with a myriad of choices that are out there. Pick one that's going to work for you. We like the one we put together because it has the 5 financial priority framework baked right into it. Because your giving is first, your saving is second, your spending of the essential things in life is third. And then the fourth thing is let's be a blessing to other. Then you say, let's have some fun. You do it in that framework. I like how that's laid out. I'll be very honest, my wife and I do not use that budget, but we have baked it into the budget that we have. We don't use that exact spreadsheet. My wife created a budget years ago. She put it together, but we have this same priority framework baked right in to make sure. So I want to encourage you, you don't have to use what we have there. But if you don't have something or what you have is not working for you, here's a free one that you can jump on board and get and start using. So utilize budgeting tools so you can use our budget that's there. There's other ones that are out there as we have listed in the workbook. YNAB, you need a budget. Or Fidelity Cash Management, I talked about that earlier. Pocket Guard, Every Dollar, Empower, Monarch, and this other one that I just learned about last month, Cube, QUBE, I think it is. That you can do. And these tools can help you visualize and put together your budget and get you propelled into that next direction that you want to go. And then also, in fact, that up on the screen there, that used to be from, what's the one that just went belly up recently that they changed? Mint, thank you, Becca. Becca knew that. So that was a chart from Mint. I don't know why they got rid of it. It was one of the most popular ones out there. But that gives you like a visual breakdown of somebody's Mint category. But Mint's not around anymore. But so you have these budgeting tips, the YNAB Pocket Guard, Empower, etc. And then from there, use a budgeting method that works for you. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes you may want to use automation. So such as utility payments and bank transfers and things like that. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like companies reaching into my bank account. I just got a notice. What's today? Today is what day? 4th. The 3rd, yesterday. I just got a notice, a pop-up on my phone yesterday, Pay Visa. The 3rd of every month, I get a pop-up saying Pay Visa. And what I will do today, tomorrow, probably today or tomorrow, I will get online, I will look at the account, I will see any charges that I have on the account. From there, I'll verify that they were my expenses. What a good idea. Let's verify. Let's not just pay ahead of time. Let's verify that they are true, correct, and any returns are taken care of in there. So from there, I'll verify that, and from there, I'll go online to my Capital One account, and I'll say, Capital One, make payment to Chase credit card on this date, and it's all done. I will do that automatically. Now, I can have it done automatically for me, whatever the dollar amount is, but I got to get some eyes on this. It's a little bit labor on my part, but it's worth doing. So I want to encourage you. If you need automation, use it, do it. If you don't need it, by all means, don't do it. My wife and I, we do a handful of things manually, I'll say it that way. Our giving to our church. We don't use the offering boxes. We give once or twice a month, and we do it online. We could set it up to be automatic because we have our budget set. This is how much we're giving every month. But instead, we do it. We get together, we look at it, we put the number in, and then we enter. It's an act of worship. Isn't giving an act of worship? Amen? And you can still do an act of worship by hitting a keystroke. But if you're not remembering that it's going out that day, how can you worship? So just some encouragement.